So I do events. I provide sound and light for events. So the night before we were working at a wedding, and we just finished working around 2 o'clock. Packed everything, got back home, go to sleep, wake up 6 in the morning, going to another show, and maybe 30 minutes after I started driving, around 6:45, I started hearing all the alarms in the radio, and I was like, oh, okay, so they're shooting again. So I thought to myself, let's keep going and see if it happens again, if there'll be another alarm. And then a few minutes later, or like a few seconds later, there was another alarm, and like a code red, and they said, beware in Tel Aviv, go to the shelters, beware in that place, and so my event was in Tel Aviv, so I thought, okay, it's not going to happen probably. I called the office, asked them what's going on, and nobody knew. So they said, no, everything is going as planned. I almost arrived to Tel Aviv, and they said, no, we're canceling it. So I just turned around and went back home. I thought to myself, okay, I got a Saturday off, which is fine, fine by me. Mm-hmm. And went to sleep. I only slept 4 hours that night. I was thinking everything is okay, probably wake up, and we're supposed to have some barbecue in the evening with the family, and yeah, then you woke up, and it was a pretty different world. Yesterday, first of all, I got a message from my commander, and they said, like, be prepared because we might get called. Because I do events, a lot of my friends have been to the party, to the Nova party in the south. You're not really scared because I wasn't sure that anything like that could happen, you know. I was thinking that maybe a few terrorists got over the fence and something might have happened, but not in those numbers. So you're scared, but you're like, it'll be okay. Everybody's going to get back home safe. As the hours went by, when it became, clear about what was going on in the south, the amount of terrorists getting into Israel and the amount of people being slaughtered, then you really start getting worried, and then you start getting angry. And I remember that before I went to sleep, maybe around 8 o'clock, I got a video on WhatsApp, and it showed a terrorist car full of terrorists, driving through, I don't know, probably one of the kibbutzes or something. And I was thinking to myself, okay, what a fake movie, like no way. And I just ignored it, and then I came home and I saw that there was one woman, I think it was the first casualty woman who got hit by a rocket, and she died. And I was thinking, okay, so there's probably going to be something. I went to sleep, woke up, and then there were already 20-something dead. And then it really hit, like, okay, it's nothing normal. With all of the defense systems that we have, and we put so much on it, and all the soldiers that we thought were across the border, nothing like that could happen. That hit me. Like when I heard that there were 22 dead, I told my wife I was here, and I told her, like, I think there are going to be hundreds. There's no way that there's like 22. If something like that happened, that so many people died, it has to be so massive that we're not even aware of it's like the tip of the iceberg. To me, it was just I never got a response. So, I just texted them and they never responded. So I guess some people, some friends of mine had their friends responding. Some of them had gotten out, some of them hadn't, but my friends never did. So, yeah. It was worrying, but you're thinking to yourself, okay, they're in the south, there's no real reception there. So you tell yourself, you brush it off. We live in this war environment. We're used to having the skirmishes and something like that. You really don't think it'll hit you. It's always close but far. It's to me it was like that. I think around maybe 5 o'clock it was already a few hundred deaths that we knew of. And I think that at that point, everybody who didn't get any response, you know, they had it in the back of their heads that probably their friends or family and loved ones either seriously hurt or no longer alive. The feeling of, you know, it'll be okay, because really I think that this is the state of mind in Israel, that you think, okay, it'll be okay, because that's how we were raised and this is how we lived our whole life. A lot of people really felt that, okay, it's not going to be okay this time, because it really touched everybody. If it wasn't your family, it was your friend. If it wasn't your friend, it was your brother or sister's best friend. It really touched everybody. I don't want to speak of my wife that much, but I'll say that she really took it to this point where she felt unsafe. We usually don't even lock our door here, and all of a sudden you lock your door and she's locking the door in her room before going to sleep and making sure that everything is locked, and it really changed the state of mind of a lot of people. For me it didn't, honestly. I always feel safe in Israel. I say it that, like, if I'll ever feel unsafe in here, then it'll be a bad day for this country, because I don't think most of the people won't be broken by it. It's heartbreaking, but it's not going to break us. For me, I've never been to war before. Always missed it. Been somewhere around the world, and you know, everybody knows that when they're gonna get called, they're going to show up, and especially after an event like that, you just make it. The switch goes like that. You're filled with anger, and you're filled with pain. Today we're about 40 days after the event, and you know, this pain is, it was at some point swapped by anger, and then wanting to revenge, and then, for me at least, really soon after that, it was no longer about the revenge. It was about, my friends are still being killed, you know, we're still at war. There are people still dying in the south, people dying in the north, tons of people, refugees in Israel. So it was just about, we have to do it because we have to do it. So you go to the army and you do it.
Yeah, that's very difficult.
You know, in the first week, I think everybody cried. And I went to 3 funerals of good friends, and then I stopped going to funerals. Not because there weren't any other people that I knew that were murdered, but just because you can't go to any more funeral. It just exceeds what you can fill your soul with. After that, you spend another week contemplating, crying here and there, and it really changed. Like, it changed my perspective of life. You realize that you're really only here for just a moment. There will be a time where we'll have the time to acknowledge the lost, and to tribute and celebrate their life, and, you know, do other stuff. But at this point, I think that everybody is just focused at the war. So for me at least, being in the military, it's the only focus. I think that we always stood firm on our values, and even at this time, with everything that's going on, with everybody being so hurt and really in a lot of pain, we still keep those values. I would say that Israel has the best, most moral army in the world. Nobody has gone to such length to ensure that none of the civilians would get hurt, unless it's truly, truly, truly being the last resort. We're doing everything in our power to keep everybody safe, not just Israelis, Palestinians as well. And I'm happy to be a part of this nation because of that. I see a lot of people in our days that are going to the extreme on both sides of the political map, here in Israel as well. I don't agree with everything, but I'm happy that now after the 7th of October, everybody is united and stay firm on our values, on our moral ground. And I think that that's what's in the end going to bring us to where we want to be. And hopefully the world would understand that we are the compass. I think that we are the compass, especially here in this part of the world, the moral compass. But looking at what's going on in the world in these days, where everything is, the truth becomes a lie and the lie becomes the truth, I think that a lot of people could take some notes, at least from the people here, because we are really doing our best. So that's what I would have to say.